All right, well, I'm out here at the Eli Callaway Performance Center. This is my annual journey out to Carlsbad, California, and I'm out here talking about the new product with Callaway, and I'm actually out here with Luke Williams. And I'd like Luke to introduce himself again like you did last year, because I know you guys wear so many hats with Callaway, and we'll introduce yourself, and then we'll talk about some of the new product.
Sure, so I'm Luke Williams. I'm the Senior Director for Product and Brand Management here at Callaway for putters, so the Odyssey line of putters.
All right, and then we've got some I know you got some really new, exciting putters that come out this year. In fact, you know, last year, or maybe I don't know how long ago, but you guys got the triple track technology.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and that was when was that?
We introduced that last year on the golf ball.
Okay, so last year. Okay, so it's been almost a year. It's been out. Okay.
Yep.
And it showed, and I want you to talk to them a little bit at home about this because you're the expert in this. Talk a little about what triple track technology did. I mean, you put it in the golf ball. Okay, and talk about a little bit what it did.
Yeah. So triple track technology uses the science of vernier acuity to help people aim better. So by having 3 lines in sort of the color combination that we have and the widths that we have, it helps a golfer to focus better and see a line better. So in a golf ball, that makes a lot of sense. About half of golfers use some sort of line on their ball. Most people just draw one on with a Sharpie. Some will use the side stamp. But having the 3 lines on the ball in a way, in a color combination that really enhances your ability to aim has been really
Which was really
successful.
interesting for me, because in our schools we promote a line and actually a back line for a tee, so they know to keep the face angled in the path. And honestly, the triple track technology took care of that, because 1 line on the ball, to me, you could cheat a little bit. You could fudge a little bit. When you put 3 lines, you really can't cheat. And where did this technology come from? I mean,
so this was actually brought to us from a doctor who had done a lot of work on alignment. He's a professor, and he had done a lot of sort of research on this, and then it was brought to us as an idea.
And that's part of the colors also. Was brought to you.
For sure, the colors matter, the width of the lines, the separation of the lines. All are important to get
it's all
right.
A lot of research
a lot of
done on
science
that.
behind it.
Well, the reason I bring that up, because number one, I actually use it, I love it, and I know a lot of guys on tour, a lot of players use this now. In fact, they become addicted to it, like I have.
Once you start using it, it's hard to go back.
And now you put it into the putters. So I know you came, I saw this about a month ago, and it was kind of the wow factor for me. Because I'm all about, and my students know this at home, I'm all about, face balance of the putter, trying to keep that putter square as long as possible, trying to keep it down the line, trying to keep those hands leading, but all that's thrown out the window if you can't square the face up.
Absolutely.
So it's all thrown out. So talk a little about, if you would, about the triple track technology new on the putters.
Yeah, so when we saw it on the golf ball, we thought that was a great idea. Pretty quickly, we were able to prototype a 2-ball putter, So we took a 2-ball putter and a blue Sharpie and a red Sharpie, kind of drew them out, and we had a prototype in 5 minutes. And we thought that was pretty cool, and we started showing some people, and people got excited about it. From there, we kind of built the line out, so we added some more models. But you talk about the ability to line up with the golf ball. When you add the putter, it's almost impossible to miss a line.
So now I'll give you a golf ball here. So now you basically, if you line it up, it lines up exactly. It's exactly the same, isn't it? It matches exactly. So it's not wider, it's not thinner. It matches exactly the same.
Yeah, the lines are the same width, same distance apart. So if you get that ball lined up and you trust where you have the ball lined up, now you just line up the lines on the putter to the lines on the ball, and you've eliminated the variable of alignment. Now it's just get your speed right.
That's exactly what I preach. I mean, it's speed, because the 3 things in the putter are path, face, and speed. And you're literally dealing with, when you put this down, face angles dead on. So and now, honestly, this right here, to me, other than besides getting the face square, it really aided in the path. Because you can watch this putter, you can watch it go back, and it's so obvious if it's going in, outside or inside. I mean, that's the beauty of that. And talk about that for a few seconds, because how that picks up on your eye, I love that.
So it's very obvious to first know where you're aligned, and then during your stroke, you can see kind of where your path is going. The other thing that we noticed, which in the data when we were doing the testing, is that players, their centeredness of contact was much better, So they're starting with the putter lined up, the ball lined up right in the center of the face, and they're able to deliver it back there much more consistently.
So basically, and let's talk about that here for a second. You talk about the centeredness of hit. Talk about, again, I know these, talk about the face, talk a little bit about the centers of hit, because I know we talk about the sweet spot of a putter.
Yep.
And when you talk about speed, a lot of times you're talking about sweet spot of the putter, because you start hitting off that sweet spot, we lose the speed, we lose our line, we don't get our break. Talk about that for a few seconds, because it was also a big thing also when I started testing these, was I saw centers of hit increase dramatically. You could feel it.
Yeah, for sure. So just like on a driver or an iron, when you hit it off center on a putter, you're going to lose some speed, you're going to lose some of your directional control. Most people don't think about that when they're putting as much, right? It's obvious when you hit a driver way off the toe or way in the heel, less so maybe with a putter, but the same things happen. So if you miss the center of the face, the head will twist, you'll lose some speed and some directional control.
And so then the reads you read or the reads you thought you may have hit it, but wrong speed, you're not gonna make the putter. It's gonna not be what you want. So again, if you're not hitting off the center of the putter, you're losing that speed. You pick a certain line, you think you got a perfect line, you miss the sweet spot, you miss the center. It's actually, could have been a good putt, but poor speed control.
It just comes up a little short, or it dies a little bit.
And I'm sure you guys are doing work on numbers and how much more accurate they are hitting the center of the putter, because I saw it immediately. That's the first thing I saw.
Yeah, we see a big difference. That was that's the thing that jumped actually the most in the data was how much more consistent players' hit location was.
Now let's talk for a few seconds. I want to get into the Stroke Lab version Nicky style, review that, but talk about the insert, because the second thing I saw when I compared to my Stroke Lab last year to this one was the insert. Talk a little bit about the new insert.
Yeah, so it's a new insert. It's sort of a firmer version of our White Hot micro hinge. We're calling this micro hinge Star. We've taken the grooves out and we've made it a little bit firmer. So some of the feedback we got on tour was that the White Hot micro hinge was a little bit soft for some players, didn't give them quite as much sound as they were looking for. So we wanted to do that. We wanted to increase that. We wanted to maintain the top spin benefit that we were getting from our micro hinge insert. So we kept the hinges in, and so we were able to get a little more sound, a little firmer feel, without losing the top spin. And actually, by eliminating the grooves, we saw improvements in the consistency of speed and spin, because you're eliminating the variable of the groove in the face.
Talk about, for a few seconds if you would, because I talked to a lot of my students about this, but obviously I have the expert here. Talk about the importance of the feel of the insert of a putter, especially with better players, with tour players, because it's a huge deal.
Massive.
I know it is massive. And you mentioned sound. And I know when I talk to my students about sound of a putter, it kind of freaks some of them out, like they think there is no sound. Describe that for me, because we've had a lot of talk about that.
And sound and feel in golf clubs are sort of synonymous, right? It's you can't make a putter that feels hard but sounds quiet, or vice versa, right? They go hand in hand. So a lot of what you think you're feeling is actually what you're hearing, right? So if you get an insert that's really quiet, it's going to feel soft, right? But a lot of that is just because you're not getting that audible feedback. One of the things that's really important with the feel of an insert is to get it to match how fast the ball is coming off the face. Right, so a tour player will hit putts and they may immediately say, no, I don't like the feel of that, I don't like that insert. But the next thing they're looking for is when they hit a putt, as soon as they hit it, they know how far they expect that to go based on how it sounded, how it felt. And if they look up and it's gone, they're expecting it to go 10 feet and it goes 9 or it goes 11, that's not good. That's not good, right? Because then you have to completely recalibrate. So they don't want to do that. So getting an insert to where the sound and feel match up with the ball speed and the distance it's going is really critical for them.
So you guys did a lot of that work on the insert by dealing with the better players.
For sure, absolutely.
That's what you did there. Because that makes sense to me, because it's exactly what I feel. I mean, it's exactly what, in here. It's exactly. Because over time you get that real consistent, where you know if you hit a little Tory Hill and a little different sound, you know it's short or long. If it doesn't match, it doesn't work. Now, the next thing I want to talk about on this, I know we talked about it last year, but this has kind of taken over the world of putting with the Stroke Lab. It has, hasn't it?
It's been big.
It's I mean, big for us. In fact, I look out and see the tour, which again, you know, I have the belief that an average player can be just as good as a tour player. There's no advantage, to be honest with you, other than practice. I mean, in
putting,
absolutely in putting.
Everyone's strong enough to be a good putter. You know.
I mean, I watch 5, 6, 7-year-old kids out there putting like wizards. Lights out with no fear.
No fear.
No fear.
No scar tissue.
Exactly. And I preach that. I mean, almost half of the game you can be as good as the best players in the world if you practice right, use the right equipment. But this putter, when I go out and I watch the tour or watch on TV, I see these again and again and again and again.
Now,
Talk about the Stroke Lab again, if you would. Just describe it.
Sure. Yeah. So the idea with this, the original concept was, we thought, we know the benefits of perimeter weighting in a club head, right? Whether it's a putter or an iron or a driver. we thought, what if we could take a putter, the whole system, and effectively perimeter weight it, right? So the idea was to take weight out of the shaft and then redistribute it between the head and the grip. By making the shaft primarily out of graphite, we're able to save 40 grams over a traditional steel putter shaft.
Which is quite a bit, which is
quite a lot, right? So we're taking it from 115 down to 75. So it's a good percentage of the club, or the overall weight. We leave the steel section the tip section steel, so that we can do the double bend, so we can get the face balance putters. It's very difficult to make a graphite double bended shaft. So we leave the steel, the tip section steel. We take 10 of the grams that we save and put it in the head to make the head a little bit more stable. We put the other 30 grams up under the grip in the butt end of the shaft. And again, without making the putter heavier overall, we're making it more stable. And what we see is more consistency in the two most important things, head speed and face angle at impact.
Now, in the reason, I remember coming out last year, and I actually sat through about an hour-long program that you did and a couple other guys did. And the reason for this is because the heads of the putters have become heavier.
Yeah,
is that
over
right?
time, over time
right.
Heads have gotten heavier and heavier. Grips actually, as we've gone to more of the oversized grips, have gotten lighter actually, because they're more of the underlisting is lighter than rubber. So the swing weights have gone up dramatically, right? So we wanted to get the swing weights back in line. The other thing that happens is the heads have gotten heavier and heavier. The shafts really haven't changed, so they've effectively gotten softer.
Right.
So we made the shaft a little stiffer than a steel shaft, so that helps too with kind of the connection between your hand.
You almost had whip in those shafts.
Yeah.
You did. You could see the shaft have some kick in it, some whip in it with the older ones.
It's not as noticeable as it would be on a driver maybe, but if you're paying attention and you're focused on it, and a longer putt, and certainly better players can recognize that. So that's helped too with the stability of the whole putter.
And you also have done some work on just showing how the stroke has gotten better.
Yeah.
I mean, which as an instructor, I love to see, because we're always talking about people's stroke. We're trying to, obviously we're trying to get the best technology in their hand, what fits them by their eye, what fits them for feel, and so on. But you guys have actually proven that the stroke has gotten better by using this. And talk about that for a few seconds here.
And we've done testing with tour players and up to 20-something handicaps. And lots of testing and measuring their strokes, measuring the ball, and we just see the consistency improvements are really significant. I mean, we're looking, often for 2, 3, 5% improvements, and we're seeing improvements in face angle at impact that are 12% better, improvements in head speed 14% better. It's across the board, it's been really dramatic.
The biggest thing I saw, and I talk a lot about consistency, and I just saw that the stroke got more consistent. It seemed more consistent. It showed on the data was more consistent by the backstroke and through stroke. I mean, it was really pretty cool because of the balance of the putter.
That's what it's all about.
So the last thing I'm going to do, and I'm kind of giving you a loaded question here. Luke always likes, he always likes these, I always bring him on. So, we have always had the guys that come in and they're getting the newest drivers and they're getting the newest wedges. We just shot some video on wedges and different things. And then they come in and they got a 10, 15-year-old putter. They come in the bag and they got this putter, and I'm looking at it going, and it's almost, I have a hard time saying, okay, let me tell you about the technology. But you're the expert on this. So if you had somebody that came up to you and said, why this, and just in a couple, a couple sentences, why is this going to dramatically help my game? And just a couple sentences to kind of summarize this for me.
Well, I mean, I think in putting there are two things that it kind of all comes down to, right? Is your ability to control your distance, right? You want trying to hit it any given putt a certain distance, and your ability to control your direction, right? You got to be able to hit your lines in order to make putts. So with these putters, we improve both of those things. The insert's going to help you roll the ball better and more consistently, which is going to help your distance control. The Stroke Lab shaft and weighting system also going to help you have more consistent head speed, so you're going to have more consistent ball speed. With this triple track technology and the alignment, you're going to be aimed more likely where you expect to be aimed, which is critical. And then you're going to be able to hit the center more often and start your putts online more consistently.
So it's truly, I mean, this is dramatic in technology. And that's why, the biggest thing that a lot of people don't know at home is that pros don't like to change equipment.
No,
they don't. I mean, and I'm one of those guys. I mean, I mean, you got to it takes a lot to put because we get comfortable with our equipment. It's kind of like our best friend. We win with it. We do well with it.
Money with
we
it
make money with it.
Right?
And if we don't play well with it, we're not making money.
Right.
And it's amazing the number of professionals, ladies, you know, from all the tours, you know, the champions, this, you know, the senior tour to the juniors that have switched over to the stroke club.
Oh, it's crazy, yeah. And just for Odyssey in general, we won the count on every major tour last year. So you look at year long, how many players put our putters in play versus everyone else. We won it on every major tour. We won the count at every major.
Okay.
We just
and it really
we had
wasn't
an amazing
even close,
year.
was it?
No, it wasn't. We had more wins. It was more than the second and third companies combined. More putters in play than the second and third combined. I mean,
so I'll
dramatic.
give you. I asked you that about the touring pros because here's the interesting part. And I've been there, not as big as some of the guys, but when you're in the last hole and you got to make a putt to win or make a cut or whatever you're going to do. There's two things you have. That's your putter and your confidence.
Right,
you know
absolutely.
That's it. I mean, you can have the whole world watch you and you got your putter and your confidence. So this needs to be your best friend.
Yeah, and they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
right?
It's amazing how many guys, you know, it's like you can take everything out of my bag, but don't mess with my putter.
Absolutely.
That's why I brought that up to you, because it's amazing how many guys I've seen switch over. In fact, so much so that very quickly I said, I've got to make a change because if they're doing it, I got to keep up with them. There's a reason for that. So it was about that. But so, well, you know, this truly is. I believe by now you've increased. I mean, I thought the stroke club was phenomenal.
Yeah.
When you guys made the different insert in the stroke club, I thought it was phenomenal. The way to balance the putter is phenomenal. And now, and you guys did the triple track of the golf ball. I went to it immediately. Yeah. And now you put it in the putter. I thought that it just goes together.
It was a natural.
It's just a natural. So I would actually challenge anybody at home to try this, because I loved what you said, and it kind of ended here, but I love what you said about the centeredness of hit.
Yeah.
It is very easy when you get out there, especially when you're nervous, when you're in those situations, you go over and the ball's a little bit right or a little bit left of that, and I'm not gonna say you get lazy, but you almost try to get away with it.
Right.
This one doesn't allow you to do it.
No.
And that just in itself will help your putting.
For sure.
Just in itself, because more centeredness of hits, hitting that line better, being more consistent.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you for your time today. Thanks for coming out, bud. Appreciate it. And
we'll
we'll probably do this again next year.
I hope so.
Thanks.